I'm mixed, and my ethnicities are my father's Nigerian and my mum is half English and half Greek. And here is a picture of them. I'm going to try and do this. I'm not really... Okay, I think this gives a good shot of their faces. So, yeah, I think I'm a really good mix between the two. And that's them on the wedding day. Okay, back to me. So yeah, a few thoughts about being mixed. Again, I'm just going to be referring to my notes so that I can keep this as short and sweet as possible. So yeah, I'm actually proud to say that I'm still working through my identity. And, you know, I don't have any kind of fixed ideas on how I feel about identifying. I feel like, well, I guess, oh, this sounds so clumsy. So basically, I feel now more than I ever had in my life that I really should be not afraid to say that I'm mixed, that I shouldn't have to say that I'm black. I mean, I do identify as black and mixed in some settings, but I kind of feel like I should be allowed to say that I'm mixed. And I think this is like, I don't know, the last kind of 3-4 years or so, that's the kind of way I felt. And I think that is a healthy thing. And I think that working through one's identity is really just, it's sort of almost like a microcosm of what people generally have to do. People are constantly working through their identity on their, in their journey in life. And I think being mixed race is just like a really good illustration of what everyone goes through. Okay, so that's probably a clumsy way of saying it, but I'm just trying to say a few thoughts on being mixed. Okay, so the second thing I wanted to say is that I don't feel close to any ethnic group. I don't feel, certainly never been accepted by whites, and I don't really feel like I fit into the black group either. Culturally, I certainly don't. So culturally, I'm really being much more shaped by my mother. So, yeah, I don't really feel culturally I fit into either. I mean, I guess culturally I'm much more white, but in terms of just feeling part of a group, I don't feel part of any group. I don't even feel part of a mixed group. I've tried, once joined a mixed group when I was in London, UK, and I also joined a Facebook group for mixed people, but I just find them generally way too kind of white-oriented in terms of, when I say white-oriented, I'm not talking about white culturally, I'm talking about they tend to be very hung up on kind of claiming their white side, and I understand where they're coming from. It's because society for so long has clung onto this idea that if you are any part black, and I'm talking about half black, half white people now, that you are, completely black. But I just find that can become a bit unhealthy and negative towards the black side. For that reason, I really don't feel that comfortable in mixed groups. So I just, I'm an individual, and that goes for lots of things, not just the racial thing. I just don't think the way I think really fits neatly into any ideology. And then the third thing I wanted to say was that one of the refreshing things about being mixed is I think it really illustrates, anyone who's mixed, I think it really illustrates to them the craziness of putting people into racial boxes. I mean, it really does. It's just crazy. I don't know, it's sad that we live in a society where people are so fixated into categorizing people racially. And for that matter, categorizing people in all kinds of ways that are not racial as well. Society is just crazy about labeling people. And that brings me to my final point that I wanted to make in this particular video, is that I really hate being labeled. I mean, I talked about how, in other videos, how when I went to one particular school, I was labeled as quiet. People, I think most people can identify regardless of what race they are, about how horrible it is to be labeled. And I particularly have suffered through being labeled in all kinds of ways, racially, feel this, psychologically you're this, personality-wise you're this, and, I've finally got to the point in my life where I am not standing for it. I really am not, I don't care anymore what people say that I am. At the end of the day, I know what I am, and no one is going to impose their sick definitions on me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say for this initial video. Again, this kind of topic has so much scope for, conversation. So I just wanted to say initial things about what it makes. Anyone else who identifies with what I said, I really welcome your comments.